Today, I want to look at the question all along the Watchtower number 1 and number 2. This is all a part of the DC's All In and follows one of my favorite characters from Gotham Central, Renee Montoya, as the question. Hello everyone, I'm Mr. Beefy, and this is Saturday Morning Comics. The question all along the Watchtower number 1 was released on November 20th, 2024, and the question all along the Watchtower number 2 was released on December 18th, 2024. They are written by Alex Segura with art by Cian Torme and coloring by Romulo Fajardo Jr. I'm going to apologize right now for butchering that name because I am horrible at that. But anyways, the question all along the Watchtower, this is one of the titles that's coming out through the DC All In that I was really interested in because the question is Renee Montoya. If you don't know who Renee Montoya is, she was a member of the Gotham Central Police Department, which if there is an older comic run to go read, I would encourage everyone to go read Gotham Central. I loved it. It was kind of more focused on the police aspect than it was Batman. Obviously, Batman's in there, but Renee Montoya was one of the characters in there that I really liked. And then later, I became an even bigger fan when there was the Detective Comics run that had J.H. Williams III art, and I believe Greg Rucka was writing all of it at the time, in which the backup story was also Renee Montoya as the question. So this was a pretty easy pickup for me. I like the character, so I'm hoping that this continues to be a series that I enjoy. I don't think it's going to be a long-running series, but if you don't know much about Renee Montoya, I would go look up some back issues of Gotham Central. I think it's a pretty cheap run to get, but if not, you can buy the trades. I highly recommend that. So let's start by looking at issue 1. I'm going to move this out of the way. Now, I did get the cardstock cover for issue 1 here, and it's a variant cover by Perillo. Like I said, horrible with the pronunciation, but he does a lot of the covers for the Red Sonja comics, which I get. So, and there's the regular cover, which I do like these white ones. I'm going to be curious over time how these modern white covers hold up. But we start with a shot of Renee Montoya waking up. She talks about sobering up. You know, she looks in a drawer, sees her question outfit, and we get immediately to a shot of she wakes up here, and she is at the Justice League Watchtower in space. And then we get a nice little splash page of Renee walking into her job. You know, so one of the things I like about this new Justice League is it reminds me of the cartoon Justice League Unlimited, in which they're trying to bring all these characters in. And to me, that's been some of the more fun stories. I always, I love Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, but it's nicer to see some of these lesser-known characters, and I think that's why, obviously, I like Renee Montoya as the question. So we jump a little ahead, and here we have Renee talking to Batman, and this is before she got to the Watchtower, and, Batman saying, hey, we need your help. Batman coming to talk to her. Obviously, she's a little bit more hesitant. However, Batman's like, well, you don't need to listen to me, but you need to talk to this guy, And Superman shows up, which is, in the DC universe, Superman is kind of like a god. So, for Renee, Superman coming down to ask for help is probably going to have a bigger impact for her than Batman, who she's had interactions through Gotham. So we find out from Wonder Woman that the question is going to be working with the team. So the problem that the Justice League is having is they believe someone is trying to weaponize the Watchtower. If you have read Justice League Unlimited, #1, you would know that after issue 1, there's someone on board that's wanting to try and kill the entire Justice League. So initially, early on, this looks like it could be a good companion book to that. However, I'm not sure they're actually tied in together, other than one has someone saying they want to destroy the Justice League, and this one is talking about someone trying to take over the Watchtower. Could be related, could be completely unrelated, but I thought that was interesting when reading both of those comics. And if you want to see the issue 1 review of Justice League Unlimited, check one of my other videos. But yeah, we find out the Question's going to have a team. I was excited to see that Ted Kord, the original Blue Beetle, is there, as is the second Blue Beetle. You know, I don't know as much about that Blue Beetle, but like I said, I like some of these more secondary characters. So now we get a shot of another character I really like, and that's Animal Man. So they're going to the menagerie, as this is called, which is kind of like a museum, science lab, you know, in which Animal Man is a part of. And then we find out someone else that she's going to be working with is Batwoman Cat Kane. So this is going to be interesting to see how these characters, The Question and Batwoman, interact, considering their history with each other. But I'm excited to see where it goes, because like I said, I'm a fan of both of these characters. So with Ted Kord being in it, Batwoman, Animal Man, and Renee Montoya, this comic is kind of perfect for a lot of the characters that I'm interested in. So we get a shot here from Blue Beetle that there's an alarm going off, and we get a bad guy that breaks in and starts attacking everyone. They say the guy's name is the Conduit. I honestly don't know who that is, but The Question does label him a D-list tin can and wonders how he breaks in. And then The Question is able to disable him, at which point, you know, Renee starts to question, you know, what was this? So, you know, the Conduit wasn't going to take over the Watchtower. He wasn't strong enough. So what was the purpose of the Conduit being here? And that's why they brought The Question on board, because she's going to be asking those questions, figuring out the mystery. And we find out at the end of the issue that it was a diversion, and one of the challengers of the unknown was killed at the end. So that was the first issue of The Question all along the Watchtower. A lot of good setup. We got kind of a mystery going on, what's happening at the Watchtower. I like the list of characters, but like I said, I'm a little biased towards all of them. I've read them previously. I feel like the art in the comic is pretty solid. The storytelling was good. It was definitely enough for me to keep ordering the comic. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm interested to see if it does continue to have ties with Justice League Unlimited, but that's going to be something that I just have to watch out for. But yeah, issue 1, I feel like was pretty solid, especially if you like a lot of these characters, which I do. And that brings us to issue 2 of The Question, and this issue has the title The Eradicator Enigma, which ought to give us a little hint as to who we're going to see, and you can probably guess from the cover right there if you know some of your 90s Superman. So this issue starts off with a warning that there was a security breach in the menagerie where Animal Man works, and they're trying to figure out exactly how bad the breakout is. So here's a splash page. Like I said, the art in this is really good. It fits the book. The artist, you know, does a good job in my opinion. Yeah. So we have Ted Kord, the Blue Beetle, looking at the crime scene. Ted Kord has some footage of the incident in front of the Challenger's room, and she is surprised to find that it looks like the footage is of Batwoman letting in the animal that kills that Challenger of the Unknown. So, Renee, being the person she is, this means she's going to confront Kate Kane and do what she needs to do. And continuing in the tradition of, like, smaller characters, we have Nightshade, who looks like to have a little bar, nightclub area in the Watchtower. And then shortly after that, we have the Armory, which is being run by the Bulleteer, which I enjoyed the Bulleteer in Grant Morrison's 7 Soldiers of Fortune run. So like I said, there's a lot of, like, if you read some of these characters from the past, you get a little nod of, you know, seeing them here and there. How much are all of them going to play? Don't know, but I kind of like seeing some of these characters that I never get to see. All right. So the door opens up and we have the Eradicator coming into the Armory, wanting the container that has this ring. And he talks about the fall of the Watchtower. So it looks like this issue is going to be all about the Eradicator trying to break down the Watchtower. So Renee finally meets up with Batwoman to confront her about the footage. Batwoman says, "It wasn't me." We have the Challenger wake up and starts talking about the Atom Project, which is another comic book going on. I have not read that one, so I can't comment on it, but he does mention it. So all of these comics could be related. At which point we get another awesome splash page of the Eradicator breaking in after he got the container from the Bulleteer. I do like the inner monologue of Renee here saying, "Too many questions, not enough time. 2 days on the job and now I'm dead. Great work, Renee." So yep, getting ready to get torn apart from the Eradicator, it looks like. Then the container that contains the ring he was wanting starts moving on its own. And then you have all the other heroes show up and the Bulleteer has the ring. I do like little parts here of the type of character Renee is. You know, snapping Eradicator's shin with her boot won't get me the answers I want, but I know it sure as heck feels good. So that's why I like the question. She's a little bit grittier, you know. So, as noted by Renee here at the end, you know, this is only day 2 on the job. And I've already had the Conduit break in, the Eradicator, you know, someone is trying to get at the Watchtower, you know, and so there's this mystery that she's still trying to figure out. And then we end with an ominous shot of Blue Beetle on the computer, and it says here, "Searching Phantom Zone containment disabled." So in the next issue, it's going to be hard saying who we have come out of the Phantom Zone. But that brings us to the end of issue 2. So, issue 1 and issue 2 of The Question All Along the Watchtower. I've enjoyed these 2 reads. Like I said, you know, by the time that I get this video edited and everything, I'll probably have issue 3 in hand, and I'll have issue 2 of Justice League Unlimited that I need to read. With the mention of the Atom Project, you know, I'm kind of interested as to how tied in all these books are. Right now, the Justice League Unlimited and The Question seems like they could be tied in. However, I don't have to read one to enjoy the other so far. So if they all are tied together, I do feel like they're doing a pretty good job of keeping them separate enough. Overall, would I recommend these comics? I like The Question. I like Renee Montoya. I like seeing some of the other B-list, C-list characters. So for me, it's an easy recommend if you like any of them. Otherwise, you know, that might be more of a personal choice. But as far as the comic goes, I feel like it's a pretty good it's a solid read. The art's really good. So from that aspect alone, I don't think you'll go wrong. So I want to thank you for stopping by for the quick look at The Question All Along the Watchtower number 1 and number 2. Let me know in the comments if it's something you find interesting, or if you've read it, let me know what you thought of it. But otherwise, I want to end it here. I want you to go read a comic and have a great rest of your day.